What is good, everybody? It is your boy, the one and only King Tyson, y'all. And we back here for another episode. We back here for episode 48, y'all. We back here for episode 48, yeah. We moving on up in the world, like I've been saying for the last couple of episodes. I appreciate y'all, man, for following me, for liking, for sharing, for subscribing, for all the episodes, man, that we've been through, man. Let's keep the comments going, man. I appreciate all the new comments that I've been receiving over the past couple of episodes, really. So I appreciate it. So what I'm gonna start doing now, I'm gonna have a segment for you guys, the fans. So it's gonna be like ask me anything. I guess it's gonna be Ask King Tyson. I'm gonna have a segment probably says Ask King Tyson. So y'all can put in the comments, ask me anything about the show or about me personally. Ask me anything about, WWE wise, but don't go, ask anything too crazy. But yeah, so I'm about to have a segment, and then I'm gonna have, shout out y'all, shout out your name, whatever, shout out your name, and we're gonna move on from there. So we're gonna make it do what it do, y'all. We're gonna move up in 2025, all right? Episode 48. So let's get it, man. So look, it was a nice ass weekend. So hopefully our weekend was successful, stress-free, and productive. And hopefully everything went your way, man. It's the Raw Smack Talk, man. The Raw Smack Talk. So guess what? We are closer and closer actually to Saturday night's main event. Saturday night's main event, y'all. The next PLE. And man, we got some matches lined up for that PLE. So we're gonna be talking about that a little later on the show. And then we got the one and only Money in the Bank. Money in the Bank, and we got Money in the Bank qualifying matches. And we're gonna be talking about that also today on the show. Alright, let's get it. Y'all ready to get into it? Let's get into the Raw Smack Talk with your boy, the one, King Tyson. Let's get into it. So SmackDown was crazy this time. I do say crazy all the time, but SmackDown was off the chain. SmackDown was off the fucking chain. So Solo and Jacob 52 had a segment. So Solo came out, y'all. Solo came out and he was saying that he is gonna be the one gonna win the men's qualifying Money in the Bank match. And we're gonna talk about that match a little later. He's gonna win the men's qualifying match and he's gonna win the Money in the Bank contract, y'all. So put in the comments, y'all, do y'all believe Solo Sikoa is the next one to win the Money in the Bank contract? Put in the comments who y'all believe is gonna win it, period. But before we even know who's lined up, you gotta get the qualifying matches lined up first. We gotta get the qualifying matches first, alright? As Solo was, talking, Jacob 52 ended up snatching the mic from Solo Sikoa. Jacob 52 snatched the mic from Solo Sikoa, y'all. That shit was crazy. He snatched the mic for him, and he said his famous line. He was like, he's all gas and no brakes. Y'all know what I mean? He said, y'all know what I mean? So Sikoa was like, yeah, y'all know what I mean? I know exactly what the fuck you mean. See, this is what I've been doing this whole time. So everything I've been doing for you, Jacob. What the fuck you mean? So of course I know what you mean. So Solo was like, hey man, do that thing that you used to do, back in the day. Everybody know that Jacob 52 used to say, I love you, Solo. He used to say, I love you, Solo. So Sikoa was like, yeah man, go ahead and do that shit that you used to do. So Jacob 52 was like, I love you, Solo. And everybody's like, oh. And so he was like, you ain't say it like that. So Sikoa was like, hey man. He's like, yeah, you kept pushing him. He's like, hey man, say it like you used to say it. Say it like you used to say it. You love me, right? You love me. So all of a sudden, LA Knight come out, y'all. LA Knight comes out, but he didn't come out for the ring. Came out from behind and he attacked the one and only, we call him Jeff Cobbs. Jeff Cobbs got attacked by LA Knight, and LA Knight ended up fleeing the fucking ring. So Sikoa, Jacob 52 and Jeff, they was pissed freak off. They was mad as hell, y'all. They was mad as a mother lover. I'm trying to refrain from cussing a lot. That's what I'm trying to do. But if I keep cussing, just put in the comments, y'all. Put in the comments, y'all. Should I just slow down on the cussing or no? But anyway, if you do that, make sure you like, share, and subscribe at the same time. All right, let's keep it pushing. So Chelsea Green, it was Chelsea Green versus Mi Chen versus Alexa Bliss for the women's Money in the Bank qualifying match, y'all. And the one and only Alexa Bliss won that. So she's the first woman to qualify for the Money in the Bank contract. June 7th. So make sure y'all tune in, y'all, in LA. I mean LA. So make sure y'all be there or be square. But I'm not gonna be there. But make sure y'all tune in to the Raw Smack Talk after, because we damn sure gonna talk about Money in the Bank. So yeah. So Chelsea Green, Mi Chen, and Alexa Bliss. So one point in the match, y'all, Alexa Bliss was lining Chelsea Green up, you know, for her finisher, but out of nowhere, Mi Chen drop kicked the shit out of Alexa. She fell to the ground real hard. So also in the match, Chelsea Green tried to do her finisher on Mi Chen, but Mi Chen reversed it, and Mi Chen did her finisher to Chelsea Green. That shit was crazy. So Alexa Bliss ended up breaking up the pin. She broke up the pin. So at the end of it, Alexa Bliss did her finisher, Sister Abigail, to Chelsea Green, and Alexa Bliss made the ref count to 3. And Alexa Bliss, like I said, she is the first woman to qualify for the women's Money in the Bank, y'all. So put in the comments how y'all feeling about Alexa Bliss winning the match, y'all. She won the match. So we're gonna see who else is gonna be qualifying as the weeks go on, y'all. We got about 3 weeks, about 3 weeks until Money in the Bank. Alright? Let's keep it pushing. So look, last week the Street Profits lost to Fraxiom. Last week the Street Profits lost to Fraxiom, and that was one hell of a match right there. They both went back and forth, flying all over the fucking ring. But at the end of it, Fraxiom ended up winning. So Fraxiom and MCMG Motor City Machine Guns end up getting attacked by DIY after, you know, and they say they will become the new tag team champions again. So do y'all believe DIY is gonna take back the gold? Put in the comments y'all believe DIY is gonna be taking back the gold. So speaking of DIY had a match with Fraxiom, and the winner of that match was Fraxiom. Fraxiom did it. They did it again, y'all. Fraxiom did it again. So highlights of that match. At one point, Axiom was trying to do a springboard move, but Johnny Gargano pulled down the ropes, and he fell, you know, and everybody was like, oh shit, the motherfucker fell, he fell on his head and shit. So Frazier finally got tagged in, and he was on fire. He did a standing shooting star press onto Johnny Gargano, and then later in the match, DIY did their tag team finisher to Frazier, y'all. He did the tag team finisher to Frazier. They kicked him in his motherfucking face and dropped him on the ground. And then Axiom ended up saving the motherfucking match, because that would have been it right there. That would have been it right there. So Fraxiom did a brainbuster to Johnny Gargano, but Ciampa ended up saving the match. He saved the match with a knee to Axiom's face. Ciampa tries to take off Axiom's mask at one point. He tried to take off his mask, but Frazier ended up kicking Ciampa in the face. And Axiom did a roll-up pin to Johnny Gargano, y'all. And that was the match. It was cheering at the end, but DIY was not satisfied. DIY ended up attacking Fraxiom after the fucking match right there. But all of a sudden, the one and only MCMG Motor City Machine Guns came out, and then ended up attacking Ciampa, and then they kicked, you know, Chris Sabin ended up kicking Johnny Gargano in the motherfucking face. Woo! So put in the comments, y'all, who do y'all believe between the matches, Fraxiom and the Street Profits? Who do y'all believe is gonna win the match? Fraxiom versus the Street Profits. Hopefully, well, the rematch, y'all, because we already seen that Fraxiom beat the Street Profits last week. But we're gonna see another match. We're gonna talk about that later on in the show as well. All right, let's get it. So look, backstage we had Andrade. He was wishing Phoenix good luck in his Money in the Bank's qualifying match against Solo Sikoa and Jimmy Uso, y'all. Solo Sikoa and Jimmy Uso. So that's gonna be one. That was one hell of a match as well. So at that point, Solo Sikoa, Jacob Fatu, and Jay Cobbs pulled up looking for LA Knight. He was like, "You see LA Knight?" And they were talking in no Spanish. And then Solo Sikoa was like, "Really? No Espanol? Really?" So also backstage, like I was saying, the Street Profits congratulated Fraxiom on their win against DIY. So next week, the Street Profits will be defending their tag team championship against Fraxiom. So, like I was saying a few moments ago, who do y'all believe is gonna win that match next week, y'all, on Friday Night SmackDown? Friday Night SmackDown, it will be the Street Profits versus Fraxiom. But I'm going for the Street Profits. Put in the comments who y'all going for. All right, let's keep it pushing. So, R-Truth had an interview, y'all. R-Truth had an interview. If you remember at Backlash, the press conference after, the press conference, after the match, John Cena did the AA to R-Truth through a fucking table, y'all. He AA'd R-Truth through the fucking table. So R-Truth had an interview with Wade Barrett. And Wade Barrett asked what's going on between him and John Cena. So R-Truth was basically saying that John Cena is not the same John Cena that he once knew. He was like, John Cena was all about hustle, loyalty, and respect. He was like, that wasn't John Cena that put him through the fucking table. He said, because now, he already talked to Nick Aldis, and Nick Aldis approved it. So at Saturday night's main event, y'all, we will have R-Truth versus John Cena in the match, alright? So R-Truth said he's at Saturday night main event, he is going to beat some sense into John Cena. He's going to bring him back to the John Cena that he knows, his best friend. So I was saying it's a method to R-Truth's madness, y'all. It's a method to R-Truth's madness, y'all. He got a lot going on. So put in the comments, y'all. Put in the comments. Put in the comments if you believe R-Truth is gonna win this match. I believe it's gonna be a big upset with John Cena. I believe John Cena's gonna win. I believe John Cena's gonna beat the shit out of R-Truth, but anything can happen. Like I've been saying, anything can happen in the WWE. So put in the comments, y'all. Let's keep it pushing. Let's move to Saturday night's main event. Let's move to the couple of matches that we got lined up. Like I was just saying, we got John Cena versus R-Truth for that match. And then we got Damian Priest and Drew McIntyre in the cage match, y'all. And Damian Priest says it's gonna end here. He said he's tired of motherfucking Drew McIntyre. He said it ends in this cage match at Saturday night's main event. Alright? And we also, don't forget, we got Jey Uso versus Logan Paul for the World Heavyweight Championship. Let's keep that in mind, alright? So look, we're gonna move on to another match. We got Aleister Black versus Carmelo Hayes. Carmelo Hayes said you should have took him down last week when you had the chance. So this week, Carmelo Hayes said he's gonna beat the shit out of him. So let's talk about a little bit of the highlights of that match. Excuse me. So Aleister Black tried to do his finisher on Carmelo at one point, but Carmelo dodged it. So Aleister tried to do a moonsault. Look, at one point outside the ring, Carmelo Hayes was outside the ring. So Aleister Black tried to do a moonsault to Carmelo Hayes, but The Miz moved Carmelo Hayes back in the ring. So Aleister Black was like, "What the hell is you doing?" So as Aleister Black was distracted, Carmelo Hayes ended up diving onto Aleister Black, y'all. So Carmelo, at this point, Carmelo was on fire. He was taking it to Aleister Black, but Aleister took control. Aleister took control of the match, y'all. But it wasn't enough. He tried to pin him, but it wasn't enough at this point. So later on in the match, Carmelo took control again, but it still wasn't enough. Carmelo was on fire again, but it still wasn't enough. He did his finisher, he did his signature and everything. So The Miz started to distract the referee at this point. He was like, "No, something's gotta give." He's like, I gotta do something. So later in the match, Aleister Black was lining Carmelo up for his finisher. But The Miz came in the ring and he just attacked Aleister Black from the back, y'all. He attacked him from behind. I was like, oh shit. So the referee rung the bell. So Aleister Black did win, but it was by disqualification. So Aleister ended up kicking the Miz in his motherfucking face. Then Carmelo ended up attacking Aleister Black again from the back. He attacked him from the back again, y'all. Carmelo did his finisher to Aleister Black from the top ropes. He dropped his ass. He was laid out in the middle of the motherfucking ring. That shit was crazy. But god damn. So this is not over. This is not over by a long shot. Alright, so let's keep it moving. We're gonna keep it moving right here. Episode 48, the Raw and Smack Talk. Let's get it, alright? So moving on, we're gonna move on to backstage, y'all. Backstage, we had Alexa Bliss. She was talking about winning the Money in the Bank contract, y'all. We already know that she is qualified now. She's the first one qualified. Now she was talking about winning the contract. And all of a sudden, she's seen her so-called mentor, Charlotte Flair. So Alexa Bliss says to Charlotte Flair that she never got a chance to thank her for what she did, to help her back in NXT. So Charlotte Flair was like, I don't remember that shit. So I don't remember what you're talking about. So you get the fuck out my face with that bullshit. So all of a sudden, Nick Aldis comes out of office with the one and only Julia. He comes out of office with the one and only Julia from NXT. He introduces her to Charlotte and Alexa Bliss. So he was like, Julia is the newest member of SmackDown, y'all. So Julia is the newest member of SmackDown from NXT. So let's get it. So Nick tells Charlotte to step in the office at this point. He wants to talk to her about Money in the Bank. So before Charlotte Flair goes into the office, she tells Alexa Bliss to stay out of her business to stay out of her way because she doesn't need her at all. She never will. So we will see about that. We will see about that. So let's keep it pushy, y'all. There was a lot that happened. So Drew McIntyre ended up coming out. Drew McIntyre comes out. He was talking about Damian Priest. And of course, he says Damian Priest is obsessed with him. Drew says that he has been trying to get rid of Damian Priest for months, but he keeps getting involved in his business. So Drew McIntyre is like, he believes that Damian Priest is a jealous motherfucker. He's a psychotic, jealous motherfucker. Drew says he guarantees that he guarantees that one thing that will happen at Saturday night's main event. He said one man will be walking out of the cage match. He said the other man will be on a stretcher. So one man will be walking out and one man will be on the stretcher, y'all. So we will see what will happen in that cage match right there. So let's talk about it. Let's talk about Saturday night's main event. Like I said, we got a couple. I think I said all the matches earlier. We got John Cena versus R-Truth, y'all. Remember that? So I believe, like I said, John Cena is gonna win that. So I can't believe R-Truth lined his stuff up for this match. But anyway, John Cena versus R-Truth, Damian Priest versus Drew McIntyre in the cage match. And don't forget, we got Seth and Braun Breaker versus CM Punk and Sami Zayn in the tag team match, y'all. Don't forget about that match. And then, like I said earlier, we got Jey Uso versus Logan Paul for the World Heavyweight Championship. Woo! Gosh almighty no. Let's keep it moving. We almost through it, y'all. How y'all feeling out there? How y'all feeling? We almost through it. So look, Solo versus Jimmy versus Phoenix for the Money in the Bank qualifying match. And the winner of that match was the one and only. I couldn't believe who won that. It was Solo Sikoa. So will Solo Sikoa do what he said? Will he become the Money in the Bank contract holder? We will see. So the little bit of the highlights of that match. Well, I won't say a little because there was a lot that went on in that match. So Solo started the match off, by attacking Phoenix. Phoenix and Jimmy end up teaming up against Solo Sikoa. They end up clotheslining his ass out of the motherfucking ring. So Phoenix, after that, Phoenix and Jimmy Uso end up starting fighting each other. Then Phoenix tried to do a roll-up pin to Jimmy, but Jimmy Uso popped up out of that shit. Jimmy's like, get the fuck off me. So at one point, Solo pulls Jimmy out of the ring, and then he slams his face into the announce table multiple times. I'm like, God damn. So Phoenix ended up diving onto Jimmy and Solo to go from the top ropes. In the ring, Phoenix jumped from the top ropes onto Solo, but Solo caught him and did his finisher. He did the spinning solo to Phoenix. That shit was crazy. He caught his ass and he was like, woo! Did the spinning solo. But as Solo was pinning, Jimmy Uso saved that match. But so outside the ring, Solo did his finisher to Jimmy Uso on the announce table. I was like, God damn, Solo was on fire, y'all. Solo was on fire. I was like, I see why he was the tribal chief. Now you see why Solo Sikoa was the tribal chief. You know, back in the day, Solo Sikoa didn't say shit. Solo Sikoa was quiet. He was the enforcer. So now he is like taking lead right now, shutting the shit down. So Solo ended up telling, after he slammed him, he was like, he told Jimmy Uso that he is not ready for the Money in the Bank contract. He said, you're not ready for Money in the Bank. So you're not ready for this shit. So at one point in the match, when Jimmy jumped from the top ropes, Phoenix did like a roll-up pin to Solo Sikoa, but the ref was not paying attention to it. The ref was more paying attention to Jimmy Uso after he jumped from the top rope and he missed. So the ref was just looking at Jimmy, and Phoenix was pinning Solo. I was like, what the fuck? The ref dropped the ball, y'all. The referee dropped the ball at that point. So Solo took control of the match again, giving both Jimmy and Phoenix hip attacks. So later on in the match, Phoenix was about to do his finisher, but Jimmy ran and did the spear to Phoenix, y'all. But Phoenix ended up popping up at 2. It still wasn't enough. Jacob interfered and distracted Jimmy, and Solo came behind Jimmy and spiked his ass. He spiked the shit out of Jimmy. So Jeff Cobb distracted Phoenix, and Solo spiked Phoenix. And that was the match. The ref counted 3, and that was it. So Solo Sikoa is the man's Money in the Bank qualified, y'all. So he's the first man qualified. So who y'all believe is next? Who is next? Alright. So at the end of the match, LA Knight ended up coming out and he attacked Jeff and Solo. He attacked Jeff, Solo, and Jacob Fatu. He had to steal chair. He had to steal fucking chair, y'all. So Nick Aldis, coming out, and he makes up a match between LA Knight and Jeff Cobb. So the match happened. He brought the referee out and everything. He's like, tonight, this is gonna be your debut match right here, LA Knight versus Jeff. And so a little bit of highlights of that match. Jeff Cobb ended up winning that match too, y'all. Jeff Cobb did his, well, I don't say he did his thing, because at the beginning of the match, he was getting fucked up by LA Knight. LA Knight was beating the shit out of his ass. But at the end of it, Jeff Cobb ended up winning the fucking match. That was crazy. So I'm gonna just get to like the mid highlights of this match. So ended up slamming LA Knight, y'all. After he slammed him, he did a motherfucking backflip. I was like, oh shit. They say he's 260 pounds and he just did a standing backflip. I was like, damn, that shit was perfect too. But so LA Knight ended up diving onto at one point LA Knight ended up diving to Solo Sikoa and Jacob Fatu, because Solo tried to interfere with the match. So when LA Knight got back into the ring, he jumped into Jeff Cobb's arms. So Jeff Cobbs did his finisher on to LA Knight. His finisher move is called the Tour of the Island. He's like, he caught him, he spun him around and dropped him on his motherfucking back. That shit was crazy. So yeah, Tour of the Islands. That's the name of Jeff Cobb's finisher move. So he did that to LA Knight. The ref counted to 3, and that was it. So it wasn't, like I said, it wasn't easy for Jeff Cobbs to win. LA Knight was really beating the shit out of Jeff Cobbs, but all the distractions he had, so he had nothing but to do. He had to win. He had to win. He would have had all the distractions and still lost to me. You're sorry, motherfucker. But anyway, we're gonna keep it pushing. Backstage, there's a little bit of trouble in paradise with Los Garza and basically El Gato Fantasma, with Santos Escobar, Angel, and Berto. So last week, Berto lost to Andrade, and Santos Escobar snapped the hell off on Berto. He was like, what the fuck was that? He said, what the fuck was that? You lost, you keep losing, man. Every time you have a match, you keep fucking losing. So Berto ended up walking out on, Santos Escobar and Angel. So this week, Angel and Santos Escobar was calling Berto, asking, have they seen him? They spoke to him. So Santos says that he feels that Berto is listening to somebody on the outside, and that somebody I believe is Andrade. Andrade is basically, I know Andrade is telling Berto something. He's telling him to come to his side of the water. So I believe it's going to be a tag team match coming real soon. Andrade and Berto versus Angel and Santos Escobar. But we're going to see how it plays out, y'all. So Santos ended up ordering Angel to go find Berto and bring him the fuck home. The fuck home. So how y'all feeling? I didn't see this coming. Shinsuke Nakamura, y'all. Did y'all see this coming? Shinsuke Nakamura ended up calling out Aleister Black. I was like, oh shit. Anyway, ever since Shinsuke lost the title to LA Knight, he's been missing in action. So now I guess he wants a new storyline. So Shinsuke ended up calling out Aleister Black. He said he doesn't fear him. He says he will fall at his feet next week, y'all. So next week actually, y'all, yeah. So next week is Aleister Black versus Shinsuke Nakamura versus LA Knight for the Money in the Bank qualifying match right there. So they will be facing each other, but it will be in a triple threat match with LA Knight. And also next week we got Charlotte Flair versus Zelina Vega versus Jillian for the women's Money in the Bank qualifying match. And then also for the Tag Team Championship, the titles are on the line. The Street Profits versus Fraxiom. Put in the comments who y'all believe is gonna win those matches right there, y'all. That shit is crazy. We're gonna talk about that all next week. It's going down. It's going down on SmackDown. It's going down on Raw SmackDown episode. That'll be episode 50, I believe. Yeah, that'll be episode 50 next week for the SmackDown episode. But yeah, we'll see y'all. We'll see next week. Let's keep it pushing. Backstage, we had Tiffany Stratton. She was walking and she ended up seeing Jade. So Jade says to Tiffany that she's gonna win, the qualifying match, and she's gonna cash in just like Tiffany did, to Nia Jax. And Jade calls Tiffany Stratton a little backstabber. She called her a little backstabber. So Tiffany Stratton says to Jade she'll be ready, and she tells Jade that she won't be even good enough to cash in on her, even if she does win the Money in the Bank contract. She was like, toodles. So did y'all see that Naomi was lurking in the back as they were talking? Did anybody see that? Put in the comments if you've seen Naomi in the back lurking. She was looking at them the entire time as they were talking. So let's get into it. Let's get into the main event, y'all. We're here at the main event. Tiffany Stratton versus Nia Jax for the WWE Women's Championship. So let's start off with a little bit of highlights, y'all. So the winner of that match was the one and only Tiffany Stratton, y'all. Tiffany Stratton retained her championship. So big ups to Tiffany Stratton, alright? So let's do a little bit of highlights, like I'm saying. So Nia Jax, she snatched her hair to the ring post. Outside the ring, Tiffany did a hurricanrana onto Nia Jax. And then her head hit the motherfucking ring post. I was like, God damn. So later in the match, Tiffany did a crossbody pin to Nia in the ring, but she ended up kicking up from that. So Nia did like a double power bomb. She did a double power bomb to Tiffany Stratton. And then after that, she did a leg drop to Tiffany. And that still wasn't enough. She kicked up from that. They was doing a lot of back and forth. That shit was great. So Tiffany slammed Nia from the top rope. She slammed her ass. She slammed her from the top ropes. I was like, at first, I thought she was about to pin her ass from the top ropes. I was like, what kind of shit is that? But she slammed from the top ropes. But anyway, so after she got slammed, Naomi ended up coming out, y'all. Naomi came out. I was like, what the fuck? Naomi came out with a fucking chair, y'all. I don't know who she was coming out to beat up with the chair, but she was coming out for somebody to beat the shit out of with the steel chair. So as she was about to get in the ring with this chair, Jade came out. Then Jade came out, y'all. Jade came out and she kicked the shit out of Naomi in the face, and then she tossed her over the barricade. I was like, God damn, it was a lot going on. So Tiffany Stratton did her finisher to Nia Jax, but Nia Jax kicked out of that shit. Everybody was shocked. I was like, oh shit. I was like, this is the moment when Nia Jax is about to become the women's champion again. So she kicked out of that. So Nia ended up pushing Tiffany off the top ropes at this point. She pushed her off the top rope, and then Nia did the Samoan drop to Tiffany on that announce table. It's like, god damn. So Nia Jax ended up doing her finishing move. She did Annihilator to Tiffany Stratton, but as the ref was counting, when he was like at 2.5, y'all, like at 2.5, Tiffany Stratton grabbed the fucking ropes. So she grabbed the ropes, but Nia Jax ended up rolling out of the ring. She was like, fuck this. She took Tiffany Stratton's title. She was like, fuck this. I don't need this motherfucking match. She's like, fuck this. But she ended up getting, she ended up grabbing the steel chair. She ended up grabbing Nia Jax ended up grabbing the steel chair. So the referee was distracted with the title because she did grab the title. So the referee was putting the title back. And as Nia Jax was getting in the ring with the chair, Tiffany Stratton kicked Nia Jax in the face with a fucking chair. She kicked in the face with a fucking chair. And then Tiffany Stratton did her finisher move, the back foot. The referee counting it fucking 3. And Tiffany Stratton, like I said, retains the fucking title, y'all. Tiffany Stratton retains the championship. Big up to Tiffany Stratton, y'all. So what's next, y'all? What is next? We're gonna find out. We got, like I said, we got Saturday night's main events coming up, and we got Money in the Bank. Alright, let's get it. So look, y'all, that was episode 48, man. Thank y'all for chilling with your boy, the one and only King Tyson. On the Raw Smack Talk, episode 48 is down and out. It is down and out. Appreciate everybody. Like I said, on every episode, every week, y'all could have been anywhere in the world, man. But you're right here with the one and only King Tyson. And I will see y'all episode 49. I'm out.